Good morning.
Good morning.
We're on here. So let's take a moment and greet one another as brothers and sisters in Christ from across the way, and waving and bowing and hugging people in your household group if they are with you. And I just saw another car pull up, not sure who it is. Anyway, so you can go ahead and have a seat. So let's see. We have a very nice thank you note. So, Kathy, if you're not here today, I hope you're watching. I did see it on the desk and I grabbed it. Reagan Dolan saying, Golden Church, thank you for the gift. If you'll remember, we gave some gift cards and masks to our seniors. So, and a lovely picture of Reagan. So, let's see. Upper rooms, still available. Good Grief, got a couple copies down here. And Calvin, if you think of it, snag one and take one home for Jessica. She said she wanted to read it. Okay. Let's see. We are started the collection for our Christmas shoe boxes. So again, as you're out and about shopping, pick up items, bring them to church, and they can go right here. And you got the date in your head in November when we have to get that together?
We will have before Thanksgiving.
Okay. So early mid-November.
14th.
Yeah. Mid-November-ish. We'll have a pack project day. And so I think I mentioned last week that I had this sermon that I preached a long time ago, and our daughter remembered it when she used to run track. And she had this long phone call with a high school friend here recently, just a friend calling to check in, and it ended up going 3 hours. And they got to reminiscing and going down memory lane, and I guess the fact that she ran track came up in that conversation. And she said, Dad, do I remember that one time you gave a stole to Bill Hendren? He's the first minister I worked with back in the 80s. Because he was a track coach, and he liked to preach about Charlie Brown. I said, yeah. She said, whatever happened to that? And I said, when he retired, he gifted it back to me. And she said, didn't you preach a sermon a long time ago about Charlie Brown and all that stuff? I said, I think, yeah. And I said, well, maybe I'll pull that out, because she got to thinking, this is the fall time when you never know what the weather's going to be, and you may go out there to a track meet or freeze or fry or do both within the span of the 3-hour meet. So you get this lovely Charlie Brown stole with are we doing a close-up? Oh, look at that, yeah, boy, yeah, Charlie Brown stole doing their track meet. So. And then the music today, I have to say thank you to Brad. Well, I guess I don't have to, but I would like to say thank you to Brad. When I was playing some of the gospel music from my favorite group, Journey Bound, he introduced me to another group of young men, Redeemed Quartet out of Indiana. And I had mentioned to him that one of the real challenges is finding decent music that really ties in with communion. And here a few Sundays back, he said, have you heard this one? And it's Redeemed Quartet singing Meet Me at the Table. So I got on their website, I ordered a CD from them. So our music today will be from Redeemed Quartet. And it's good to see that Southern gospel music is not dying with my generation. Because these young men are in their 20s, yeah. So, and I have to admit, and it's probably because I'm biased, I think the bass is the best in the group. He's just really amazing. Let's see. Those are all the announcements I have. Any other announcements for the good of the order? My understanding is we are going to have a Deacons Trustees meeting after church to chat a little bit. So if you were involved in one of those groups, hopefully you're planning on sticking around for some conversation. So no other announcements for the good? I read the thank you note. And that's a wonderful picture of her. I mean, not just good, that's wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll let her know.
All right. Well, if there are no other announcements, then we'll start with our first piece by Redeemed Quartet.
David said he's like a shepherd. He knows our every need, leads us by the gentle waters, where our hungering souls he feeds. As a little lamb I'm helpless, my soul I can't defend. I'm so glad the Lord's my shepherd, on him I will depend. Oh, it's in the Savior's hands, those precious nail-scarred hands, though driven through with nails, my Savior's hands will never fail. I may not understand, I'm trusting in the great I am. It's good to know it's in the Savior's hands. Now in the time of my confusion, when I can't find the way, so bewildered from this battle, don't even know for what to pray, I'm glad that somewhere in the shadows of my sorrows and all my fears is the shepherd sent from heaven. Oh, I can see him through my tears. Oh, it's in the Savior's hands, those precious nail-scarred hands, though driven through with nails, my Savior's hands will never fail. I may not understand, I'm trusting in the great I am. It's good to know it's in the Savior's hands. Oh, I may not understand, I'm trusting in the great I am. It's good to know it's in the Savior's hands.
So as we come to our time of prayer today, it seems like there's been a couple of things that have been on our prayer list for quite some time now, and I'm not sure they're going to go away anytime soon. So keeping the whole coronavirus pandemic situation that is, it's not just our communities, our state, our nation, it's worldwide. Keeping that in our thoughts and prayers. Vaccines sooner rather than later would be nice. It seems increasing racial tensions in our country that, interestingly enough, is spilling over into some other countries, it seems to me. So I would encourage us to continue to pray for peace in that situation. We may have different ideas about what the problem is and what the solution is, but let's just pray for peace. It'd be really nice if that could stop. I was sharing with Shirley that this next Tuesday, since tomorrow's a holiday, my progressive agent is going to get a rather terse phone call from me because we're almost a month out from the derecho, and we still haven't had an adjuster come out and look at our house. So the damage that is there, we've kind of got, duct taped and plasticked up. But it'd be really nice, it seems, within a month, somebody ought to be able to come out and tell us what to fix and, that kind of stuff. And there's still people that are homeless because of it. So hurricanes in the Midwest, who knew? And then I just heard this past week, because Linda's on the church council at First Congregational Church, Cedar Rapids. I think a couple of you had said, so you had a picture of the spire there, and it looked like something had been torn off, and evidently it was copper plating or sheeting, which could be expensive in and of itself. And when they had their adjuster come out and they started digging, they found that actually the winds lifted the entire roof of the church a couple of times. So there is damage to the roof, there is water damage in the sanctuary. They're basically saying damage in excess of $1 million, and that by the time they get all the repairs, they might be able to get back into their sanctuary by Christmas of 2021. They got to move a pipe organ in order to do the repairs. So,
You're welcome to come here.
well, and that's what I told them. I said, if you want a road trip, come on out. We got space for a few more, and we can still socially distance. Well, and they have not gone back to in-person worship. About once a month, we were doing like an outside service on the front lawn. So, yeah, they're going to be, well, they're not sure what they're going to do. Luckily, they have a really old insurance policy, and they only have a $2,500 deductible. So once they write that $2,500 check, the rest of the $1 million, insurance picks up. So, and then, let's see, had an email, brief conversation with Nancy and Larry, and I understand that Jim Sr.'s hip tune-up went well, and that what was out of place got put back in place, and even though there might still be a little bit of surgical discomfort, he could already tell that what was amiss is no longer. It's where it's supposed to be. So we give thanks for that. Are there other prayer concerns, Joyce? Yes.
I have an update on Chuck House.
Okay.
The surgery didn't take as long as what they thought it was going to, but the healing process is going to be more at length. And they took him back into surgery, I think yesterday, and the only reason they did that is because it was quite intense in changing the dressing, so they had to sedate him for that. And he's having difficulty eating because apparently this is on the right side and his left hand doesn't work really well because of his Parkinson's. So she's been staying with him, and her son finally brought her some more clothes, and he won't be going home as scheduled because now they're going to keep him and start some physical therapy. So just have to move him to a different area for that. So
Okay.
a little bit of a different road.
So a little more than what they were expecting.
Well, the pathology report came back good.
So we celebrate that.
Celebrate that big time.
But the process a little more involved than probably they were
Yeah.
thinking it would be. Okay, so continued prayers for Chuck with the growth that was removed. Pathology looks good. That's the good news. But the process is a little more than what they were thinking. Okay, others? Julie?
We had a young couple that got married yesterday, and the marriage ceremony went off well. both of their hosts had to not be there because the one had a heart attack after the rehearsal the night before, Jerome Reese, and he had heart surgery on Friday night at Mercy in Cedar Rapids. And the other one is in quarantine due to COVID. So they were glad they didn't come. Prayers for both of those families, Ronnie Glanz and Jerome Reese, and one of their ushers found out within the last 10 days or so that he has pancreatic cancer. Scott Crowley from down by Buckridge, a young man, 40-ish, has quite a road ahead of him with treatments for that.
Yikes. And all of this news came out and about around a celebration of marriage. Yikes. And as far as we know, everything got accomplished in the heart surgery that needed to be? All indications? Okay, good. And it's amazing the advances they've made with pancreatic cancer. I mean, in the last decade, 5-10 years ago, if you had pancreatic cancer, it was put your house in order. So, others, Joyce. Yes.
I'd like some prayers of healing for my Uncle Dick Clement.
Okay, prayers of healing for Uncle Dick. All right.
He had a cancerous kidney removed. They're not going to do any more treatments. But they did get, they think they got it all when they removed the kidney. But he has one sore vision.
When they start getting in there and taking organs out, yeah. Other prayers. Well, I guess I'll throw one in. Our daughter Jennifer this last week had a severe headache, and the next day she had a severe sore throat. And about that same time, our youngest grandchild had an ear infection, so they were all at the doctor's, and of course you got to take the other kid along. And the nurse practitioner who did the intake said, those are two primary symptoms of COVID. I think we ought to test you and your children. And it was what I call the invasive test, the swab, up into your brain, it feels like, that's what Jennifer said. I thought they were going to stick it in my brain. And the good news is they all came back naked. So it's just a headache, a sore throat, and an ear infection. So we celebrate that. So let's be in prayer together. Creator God, creating still. We thank you for the gift of life and the opportunities we have along life's way to make a difference in this world for the better. For you, for us. As we come to prayer today, it's good that we can gather as a family in faith and lift our hearts and our minds and our souls in prayer for those that we are aware of that have been named today who are hurting in body or mind or spirit. And although these folks may be very close to us and near and dear to us, perhaps for some of us it's just a name. We don't know the person. And we know that the few names we have here today are the proverbial tip of the iceberg when we start to think about all of those in our communities and around the world that are struggling, just trying to make it another day. Some just trying to make it another hour. And Lord, as people of faith, the good news, remember that's what gospel means, the good news is that we don't have to do any of this alone. That in our most difficult of times, when we feel maybe everyone else has just forgotten us, you're there with us. And the amazing thing is, in the worst of times, it can bring out the best in people. And that's a wonderful thing to see. And so, Lord, we thank you that you give us this opportunity to be your disciples in the world, to live our lives in a way in which, when people see us and hear us, they will know both who and whose we are through our words and our actions. Lord, continue to keep our church in grace and in peace. And we do pray for your peace in the world, for all of your people. And now, in a moment of quiet, we would bring before you those special prayer concerns that we feel most deeply in our own hearts and minds this day.